Okay, so in this video tutorial I will explain how to make one of these gimmick cards just using 2 playing cards and crazy glue. The reason I'm using a crazy glue because it dries really fast. So all you need to do is this. When you apply the crazy glue, apply one long side and a short side. It can be this one or this one, don't matter. Only those 2 sides. Okay, you have to be really careful and really fast. As soon as you put this other one right above, you have about 2 seconds to completely square the other card right above. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the Eisenhower dollar because this is thicker. What matters here is the thickness. It is much thicker than the $1/2 because I'm gonna build this gimmick for a $1/2. You can use any other coin denomination. In this case, I'm just using the Canadian $1/2 because it is the right size and it doesn't create a lot of gap in between 2 cards. I'll show you what I mean. But I need to use the Eisenhower dollar coin because it is thicker, so I need a big gap. I'm just going to place half of the coin. I will apply the crazy glue once again in this edge and let it dry for at least 2 minutes. And that's it. You already have the gap right there. That's how you create this gimmick card. Now, if you have any excess, make sure there is no excess going off because of the bending. You may have a little bit more of the card right below. So you have any, just cut it. Make sure both cards are perfectly square. And because of it, now the Canadian $1/2 coin can fit really easily into the gimmick card. Now the reason I use the Eisenhower dollar, obviously, so the gap is a bit bigger. Over here, as you notice, I use the same coin. And when I perform the routine, I mean, it fits right there. But in the routine, I struggle a lot to put the coin right inside the gimmick card. And over here, because I use the Eisenhower dollar coin, it provides a wider opening, so the Canadian fits easily for a performance. Now let's see the routine. Okay, so I will start explaining the way magicians typically do this performance, then I will explain the way I actually did it, because the way I did it is a bit trickier, but it's not a big deal. You have 4 coins, 1 inside the gimmick card, and 3 right there. Now what magicians usually do, when they have these 2 cards right here, the opening is pointing to this hand, but they show this hand empty, they show this other one empty. And that tossing action, the coin get off the gimmick card. Now notice, the gimmick card is always under the single card. So this single card is always behind the gimmick. And when I toss these 2 cards with the purpose of showing my hands empty, I already unload this coin under the single one, okay? So these coins are right there in the side, and they load this coin right inside this gimmick card, okay? Just push little slightly right here, so the other end may lift. And when you put it right there, that's already hide it. Over here, you have the coin. Now, the way you pick them up, the card in the right side, you pick it up with the left hand, and the card in the left side, you pick it up with the right hand. That's the way you do it. Then, this single card always goes behind the gimmick one. Then you show this hand again empty, and then this other one empty. In that tossing action, that provides a little shake for a coin to get off the gimmick card, okay? So you just put the single card with the coin right below over here, and then you do the second vanish. You push over here a little slightly, so you may load the coin inside the gimmick card. Then again, you pick it up, the card in the right side with the left hand, and the card in the left side with the right hand. And that's it. Again, you show this hand empty, and my other hand, I show it empty as well. I already load the coin under the single card for a final transposition, basically. That's it. So that's the basic routine most magicians do. Now, the way I did it in a performance is a little trickier, not a big deal. But notice in the performance, what I have is the coins in this position. I'll show you why in a minute. Then, instead of using the tossing action to get the coin off the gimmick card, in this case, let's assume you have both cards face up or face down. But for this instance, I will show you the example with the card face up. Now, this gap is always pointing to the fingers, okay? It's always pointing to the fingers, whether you have it in this hand or in this hand. Now let's say you have them face up. You turn them over this way, or you can do it this way. But don't do it this way because it looks really bad, or too obvious, I guess, at least in my opinion. Because the way I pick the cards up, if the card is in the right side, I pick it up with the right hand, and the card is in the left side, I pick it up with the left hand in this case, so I don't need to toss the cards from one hand to the other, and because of it, I always have this gap pointing towards this side of the fingers, so this single card always go behind the gimmick one. So when I turn them over this way, this gap, notice, is never pointing up, it's always pointing me, at least in an angle, or completely towards me, but it's usually in an angle, okay, 45-degree angle, from here to here. Now, to get the coin off the gimmick card, I have them in the fingertips, and then I just let them go to the hand, okay. That provides a little shake from the fingertips to the hand. Okay, I'm exaggerating obviously, but without the single card, you can see from the fingertips, with that little motion, the coin gets off the gimmick card, okay. I already have it over here, so the single card can hide the coin. Now, the first gesture, what I do, I cover the coins, just to make it look a bit suspicious. But I push over here a little slightly on the cover, so it may get into the gimmick card, into the pocket, okay. So I do any gesture, and then I produce the coin this way, alright. So again, in this case, I always pick up the cards from the same hand. Right card with the right hand, left card with the left hand. Again, in case you have these two cards face down, let's say, I'm gonna turn them over the same way, but in this case, I'm doing a 360-degree spin. I have them face down this way, I have them face down as well, but I have the coin unloaded. This way is a bit trickier because you have to trust that the coin is getting off the gimmick card without even feeling the coin. So that's a bit trickier because you are not touching the coin. So you have to trust that the coin is getting off the gimmick card. The nice thing when the cards are face up, you can just do 180-degree spin, and right there you can feel the coin and load it right below the single card. Then for a second vanish or transposition, what I do is kind of similar than the first one. I just slide them up, and one of the coins appear right in this other side. Now notice this single card must mimic the shape of the gimmick card. Just by bending a little slightly, you can create a similar shape going up, except when they are face up. In case you have the card face down, you have to do, like I say, 360-degree spin. The coin, I know, is almost out because I can feel it in the tips of the fingers. So I just leave right there. This single card, the edge is touching the surface, so I just remove the gimmick card, trusting that the coin is already on load right below the single card. So that's the only thing, that you don't have to touch it. So it's not really that tricky, it's just that it requires a little bit more practice. Then what I did for the last vanish or transposition, I just put this edge right about there into the pocket. So as soon as I have it right there, I remove my thumb and put it down here. Then I'm gonna scoop this coin this way. I mean, I'm gonna obviously do the same gesture with both cards at the same time, but you need to be a bit faster. And that's it for the last vanish. Now, you think this last vanish looks too obvious, the scooping motion looks too obvious, you can use any other variation you like. And when you put them on a table, don't drop them, because this card is obviously much heavier than the single one. And when you show them face down, because when you show them face up, this card is also a little slightly bent up, contrary to this single card, which is bending down. But that's the main principle, so I hope you like it.